I just want to spend a short amount of time talking about my YouTube channel, where we're going and what the future holds. Why not stay and see what I've got to say? Well, good afternoon, and hopefully I don't sound too bad. I've just, today is Wednesday. I wasn't very well on Saturday and Sunday, and I did a COVID test on Monday and found I'd actually got COVID, so I'm recovering from that a bit. But I felt for a little while I'm struggling with the channel. Where am I going? What's the point of it? What's the main theme of it, etc.? And thought it was stagnating a little bit. So I was planning on doing a talk like this, but possibly just as part of going out. But with not being very well, this is the first time really I've been out the house since probably Saturday. I mean, it's good to get out. You can see I've come to Crow Park. You can see there's the lake there. We've had a lot of rain recently, and the lake is extremely full. I don't know whether you can see. We normally have the there's the shot of the island and the gate that sometimes is just dipping into the water is virtually fully submerged now. So that it's there's some interesting movement in the cloud, etc. But yeah, let's get back to where the channel is. And with not getting out, etc., I've had time to think and that about what my aim is of the channel. And I suppose there's 2 or 3 different aims. One is to showcase the Lake District, to show people that there is quite a bit of beauty here up in Cumbria, and it's well worth a visit. And showing some of the maybe less trodden paths that they are well worth going on. And in a sense, I'm proud of where I live. Sometimes we can get a bit blasé about it, but I'm very proud, and the environment and that. So there is that. Yeah, I'd said about showcasing the Lake District, etc. I suppose on the back of that is to showcase other places I've been that I've gone to, because I believe their natural beauty is well worth a visit and showing. And then the other thing is possibly to try and pass over some of my knowledge of photography to other people, to try and, in a sense, teach people is a want of a way of doing it, or put my opinion across so people might find, oh, if I do it that way it's a bit better. I mean, we all have our own way of doing things, but yeah, I mean, the video that I put out, where we were now Wednesday, the one that went up last Wednesday of my visit to Kelly Hall Tarn, and explaining how I, in a sense, work out my composition and how I finesse it, is doing very well at the moment. If you look at it compared to the previous 9 videos of that, including the last 10, it is the best video. So there is a thirst for that, but I don't just want to do that. But sometimes I felt I've just been running around, just getting pictures, driving to the next point, etc., which was a bit of the video that went up on Sunday, and I was a bit disappointed with the video that I appeared so lethargic. I don't know whether I was tired or not, but I need to do this with enthusiasm, that people see that whether it's just showcasing or it's teaching, that I actually enjoy this, which I do. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. I mean, there's nothing better than being out on the high fells when the weather is reasonable, not too bad, and the views, and being at one with nature and being able to show its beauty. Right, so having said that, that's sort of two of the main aims, is to showcase particularly the Lake District, because that's where I live and that's where the bulk of my videos are from, and also to offer some advice and teaching. What do I think I should be doing in terms of making the channel, improving the channel, or meeting those aims better? What, as I've said, I want to avoid is ones where it just seems I'm dipping and diving into different locations and just coming up with a stream of images. And that video, that type of video, has its place and will be there at times, particularly if I'm going away, which we'll talk about shortly, and that. But what I want to try and do is, thinking about this, is I need to plan more. I'm aware that it's all very last minute and I just go somewhere and I'm not bearing in mind where I'm going in relation to the weather and whether it's a good location, etc. So yeah, so there's more planning, but I suppose the main two type of videos I want to do and concentrate on is ones where I'm going for a definite walk. There seem to be few and far between at the moment, but where I'm going somewhere, be it up a mountain, over a pass or whatever, and would sort of videoing the journey, and hopefully on that journey coming up with some nice images. So part of it is that the main, on those type of videos, the main idea is the walk, to go for the walk, to benefit from being out there, and hopefully to find some nice images, to get some pictures as a memento of that walk. And that is definitely the sort of showcase in the area, because there is some very nice areas both here and elsewhere. But also the other type of video I want to do is maybe where I've been to before, and I'm thinking the next video, if I'm well enough to get out in the next 2 or 3 days, or the next video anyway, I'm hoping that I can get out and get a video done for Sunday, is to sort of major in, a bit like I did at the Kelly Hall Tarn, to major in on just 1 or 2 images. That's where I'm going. I've got an image in mind, and talking through maybe where the location is, how I've got there, and a bit of vlogging of the route, but then talking about why I've gone there, what I like about the image, what makes that image special to me, and how I go about choosing the perspective, and maybe coming up with 2 or 3 different perspectives just to compare. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I think that's what I want to do, is majoring on that. And the other sort of videos I've thought of doing, I will have mentioned that I am a member of the 617 Club, an online camera club, and for those that are aware, they have what they call Thursday Takeover, where one of the members does a live stream, and I'm actually doing a live stream on a week tomorrow. That'll be Thursday the 25th of September, and The initial title was going to be Photo Locations in the Lake District, but I decided as I was putting it together that's a bit of a too big a subject the way I wanted to do it for one video, so we're just talking about photo locations in the Derwentwater area. And what I thought was, I mean, it is aimed to be round about getting on towards an hour, so that's quite a bit long for a YouTube video. But what I thought, once I've done it, I would just sort of redo it just at home and record that, possibly split it into two and then put those videos up. The style of the presentation is right, like the presentation, we're at Crow Park here, and that's my second location on the presentation, and saying we're coming into Crow Park, giving you an idea of where it is, and then showing 3 or 4 or maybe slightly more images that I've captured at this location, showing what the options are, showing what it is possible to come up with, and then other spots around the lake. I mean, I am quite impressed by the fact of how many different possible images and locations there are just going round Derwentwater, which, if I turn round, is the lake there behind me. It is a very impressive lake, and if that one works, I may be asked to do others, but I may put other that type of presentation together for other areas of the Lake District, and possibly eventually for other areas elsewhere. But then what I can do is record those presentations and put them up on the channel. So I think that should be quite good. That's just something a bit different. Right, so hopefully that's giving you an idea of the way I'm planning on going, coming up with, in a sense, 4 types of videos. The main 2 being going on longer type walks in the Lake District or other areas, and the video being a record of that, but going somewhere where hopefully I can get some decent landscape images to show what can be got no matter where we go. And then other videos where we've gone to a specific location and just concentrating a bit more on how we come up with the image. I think on some of the videos in the past I've got somewhere and I've just said, oh, well, this is where we are, this is the composition, there's the picture, and we move on. But we'll just major a bit more on how we come up with the composition, why we've gone there, and that. And there will be some lesser ones of just going around, possibly walking in a location or driving round a location where we stop, where we know there's possibilities of images, such as the most recent video going down the east side of Coniston Water, or up the east side of Coniston Water, which was somewhere I'd not been before. I found that quite difficult, not really knowing where I was going. When you drive and you can't always see what there is to be seen, so you may miss stuff, etc. So a little bit stressful, but yeah, I mean, there will be some of those. And then the other ones are more presentation type video, where we're talking about a particular area and showing what is possible in that area by showing various images that I have captured in that area. And yeah, it was interesting having put this presentation together that I'm doing in a week's time, that there are certain areas I think I need to go back there. There's much more to be had. And you would have thought the number of times I've been out in this area that I would have covered virtually everything by now, but no, there's still more to be had. Nature is amazing, and nature is always different. If I see an image that somebody else has taken, there's no way I could ever take that same image. If I went to the same spot, had the same lens, etc., yes, I could get the same basic composition. But would it be the same? Would the light be the same? Would the etc., the weather, the wind, etc., be the same? No. So each image is individual. So I do go back to some places knowing that or feeling that I could get a far better image. So yeah, presentation style of I think is quite good, particularly if I've been to a place a few times. So like one of my go-to locations, which is just round from here, it's just round behind me that way, which is Isthmus Bay. I'd have to go the long way today. The lake's risen and the footpath from here to Isthmus Bay is underwater, so there's no way I could go on that today. But I've got so many different images, and if you just show one, people think, oh yeah, that's quite a nice place. But if you can show 3 or 4 different images, and this is what it's like when the the lake's very low and the jetty's out of the water, or this is when it's in the middle of the water, when the lake's at a sort of standard height, or this is what it's like when the lake is full and the jetty is submerged, but with the use of filters you can still see the jetty under the water and that. So yeah, and it just gives people an idea of what there is. But it's showing places where people don't always think of an image. We're in danger of photographers have just got in mind these iconic images. I mean, this here, Derwent Water, Crow Park, looking across to Derwent Island with cat bells behind, is an iconic image, and I have no problem with people taking it. But there are other images around that are just as nice, and they're never talked about. They're not put. I think we need to learn to keep our eyes open, see what is there, see what nature has to present. And yeah, it's so I mean, that's the idea of the presentation type one. There won't be that many of those. I haven't taken enough images to do any presentation. I mean, if anybody's got in mind anything that they'd like me to do, say on the computer, be it with Lightroom or whatever, I'm willing to consider any options. So yeah, I think I've rabbited on quite a way. It's been a bit of a meander, but yeah, we'll see where we end up. But I'll close the video there, and if you found it interesting and you've sort of enjoyed it, if that's the right word, please click the thumbs up. And if you've come across this and you don't know who I am, look at some of the other videos that I've done. And if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. It does all help. And yeah, as I say, the next video I was hoping to get up to Waller Crag, to what I call the Lone Tree on Waller Crag, and talk a bit more in detail about that particular location. So hopefully that would come out on Sunday if we can get it organised. I did mention in passing about going away. In the first full week of October, the plan is to go up to Scotland, possibly to Skye, and possibly across to Harris, somewhere I've never been, and hopefully get some good images there, and obviously there will be some sort of videos from that trip. And then the other big trip that is planned is in January next year, back end of January into February, is a trip to Iceland. And again, we'll aim to put up some videos from there. And the only other trip meetup that we've got planned, I mean, I was meant to be going on a meetup this weekend to Scotland, but with having had COVID, it's just not possible. But there is a meetup in November at Blacksail Youth Hostel. I mean, that will be interesting, depending on what the weather's like. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting, but what we get will be very weather dependent. It is a youth hostel that you can only walk to. You can't drive to it, so we'll have to carry everything in, etc. So that's just one or two things coming up. But we'll leave it there, and we'll say we'll see you on the next video.